In 2003, a vision was born, a commitment to honor the resilience, talent, and dreams of Namibian athletes. 2 decades later, the Namibia Annual Sports Awards stands as a testament to our nation's sporting excellence and ambition. Established under the Act of Parliament 12 of 2003, the Sports Awards emerged as a continuation of efforts by the Sports Council transitioning into the Namibia Sports Commission. With experienced pioneers like the Honourable Kale Schlettwein and Rustin Mogane, the awards were designed to celebrate and elevate Namibian sports.
Well, I must indicate that it was not smooth, transition when we had to transform first from the council, to the commission. But we also need to keep in mind that we had to start by amending the enabling, legislation, because it is that framework, legal framework, that established the council, and then by extension, of course, the transformation of the council into the sports commission. So we had to go through that process of tweaking the existing, enabling legislation, which was done particularly with the indulgence of the Director of Sport at that particular point in time, Dr. Vey. And once the realignment of the Act was accomplished, then we had to embark on the transformation from the Council to the Sports Commission.
The Commission was established in 2003. I joined the Commission in 2004, so it was just 1 year that it was after it was established. But as you know, there was the Sports Council. So there was a transition starting from the Sports Council to the Act, the Sports Commission, which was an act by Parliament. So one of my tasks, for example, which was a little bit a challenging task, is to in the transition time, sport codes to move over to the Sports Commission. Sometimes it was challenging because some of the sport codes would say, no, we don't need the Sports Commission. We have our own money, we can travel and so. I said, but at the end of the day, if you don't do that, you will only stay in the country and you can't do anything. Other challenge was to create the image of the Commission. We had to create that the Commission is an institution that runs the whole sport in this country. We had our first office at the Independence Stadium, but it was not really a very good environment, although it's a sports field. But when there's, for example, a lot of people sitting on the stadium, then leakages, water runs through. So it was not a good thing for the Commission. So we said, okay, let's look for another building so that the image become better. So that's why we got this building, because we saved a little money. And the other thing that we also did is we traveled to the regions to promote the Sports Commission, so that more people, because during the time of the Sports Council, it was more Windhoek based, so to speak. But there are a lot of talent out there that was not recognized. And if you look back in the olden days, there were a lot of black people in particular who did very well, but could not get the recognition. So, and therefore we said, let's go out there and promote the Commission. We have now a building that people see, okay, now really, this is now the top sports institution, and people would be keen to communicate with us.
And some of that, transformation was the imperative that we determined to then have annual, events, which were then christened at the Annual Sports Awards. Now, these Annual Sports Awards were primarily established to, within the sporting, fraternity, to acknowledge, but most importantly, and that was the primary, objective, to provide, incentives to our sporting, talents in the different, sporting codes, to recognize their contribution and in a way motivate them to even do better in the next, cycle.
I'm not one of the initiators. As I joined the commission, I found the awards. At that time, the chief administrator was Mr. Rastan Mohane, who is the former coach of the Brave Warriors as well. Being the initial administrator of the commission, I believe he was very much instrumental in initiating this event of the Sports Awards. And as you rightly put it, celebrating 20 years of the Namibia Annual Sports Awards is very significant. It have evolved, it have come a long way, and it's more important to say this is an event that celebrates, but not only celebrates, but rewards our athletes for what they put into on and off the field of play. They play an important role. They are not only there to compete, but they are ambassadors of Namibia as a country on the international stage, on the local stage, be it at SADC level, at a Commonwealth level, and at Olympic level. So it's very significant that we are celebrating them. Of course, we have to make sure that they are rewarded as well in the Sports Awards. And so celebrating the Sports Awards at the 20 years, it tells you that the Commission have done quite a good job. There may have been challenges, but holding this event to come to where it is now, I think it's something that the Sports Commission should be very proud of. I can remember when I joined the Sports Commission then, that was 2009, 2010. The Sports Awards then was a very small event. I think there were about maybe 12 categories at that time. And literally there was no sponsors. The money came from, the little budget came from the commission itself, of course, through the Ministry of Sport. But later on, sponsors started coming through as we engaged sponsors. But what is most significant at that time also, there was 4 categories that were only tied with prize monies. And that's the Sportsman of the Year, Sportswoman of the Year, Junior Sportsman of the Year, and the Junior Sportswoman of the Year. I vividly remember at that time, the Sportsman of the Year was receiving 15,000. Can you imagine to where it is today? The junior sportswomen and men were receiving 5,000 each. The rest of the categories were not paid a single cent. And not even to mention about the category for athletes with disability. They were not receiving anything. And so, for me, this tells you that where it is today, and if you look at the amount that I've just mentioned, that's merely a $30,000 prize money. Today, the prize monies go over 1.5 million that we are giving to our athletes.
So this year we are celebrating a very big milestone, 20 years of existence of this award, whereby we are looking about legacy of champions. We look what men and women has done, administrators, athletes, what they've done to contribute to where Namibia today is, as we are now known as a country that is there, which is competing, and a country that looks about podium performances.
Organizing an event of this magnitude requires months of effort, dedication, and collaboration between administrators, the board, and corporate sponsors.
It takes around about 6 to 8 months to host an event of this magnitude. The day of the event itself, people, they'll just come and see what the event is all about, not knowing what it takes to host an event of this biggest magnitude. Therefore, the support system is very important from the board, the support system from the ministry, and the most important are your staff members that have to run the given project, because it involves long hours of work, it involves a lot of energy and a lot of innovation. And we also need to appreciate the support that you get from the corporate world, especially if you look about categories, because most of the time these categories are actually sponsored by corporate Namibia. It is the right thing to do, that we must salute corporate Namibia for those who have been in the trade and for those who have joined recently. And even for those who are planning to join us, that it is the right thing to do. And indeed, we are quite excited that we are celebrating the 20th anniversary.
You need to commit a lot of time. We spent countless hours at the Sports Commission to make sure we get it right. You will be, remember, we are full-time employees at other organizations, so you need to come to the Sports Commission. We'll be there up to 3 o'clock in the morning just to make sure that we get things right, the rule book. We needed to make sure that the platform is set right. We need to make sure that the judges are also there, because you can't leave them there, so we needed to give them that assistance in whatever they needed to do. So we were there up to 3 o'clock, and it took about 3 months to really bring the sports awards to life.
I would like to salute NBC. They've been with us up to this time from the beginning. So of which they play a very important role, because it's a live event, and when it's a live event, you must make sure that whatever you produce by the end of the day, it suits the needs of the public. In the same vein, we also need to appreciate the support that we also get from other corporate, especially media partners. They do quite a lot. Look, currently now for the past 3 years, we've got the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology that have come on board to support us in the promotion of My Namibia, My Country, My Nationhood slogan that we all love much. So it's not so easy. When you come and see us at this day, that today we are in here, it was not easy, because sometimes you need to influence, you need to ensure that at least you need to be on top of your game. If you're not on top of the game, you can't be able to host an event of this nature. This is one of the premier events in the country where we need to honor our top athletes, where we need to honor our top administrators, and at the same time, for those who have contributed in the sport, which we call the lifetime achievers.
Having worked again for corporates, I had access to negotiating with the likes of the breweries and the MTCs and the insurance companies of this world to look at how could they come on board financially in order for us to have monetary value that we attach to the medal or the certificate or the trophy that we are giving to the athlete. And yes, the criteria were a bit tough, because we had to look at the different sport codes in their different categories, the A category, B category, C category, etc., and really look at what they have done and find the right platform, the right level of agreement with the sponsors and the monetary value to put to it. But the organization, all in all, we had a good team internally. So as a sport commissioner, we were supported by the office, we were supported by the marketing team, by the internal team. And then to top it off, most of the sponsors would always nominate 1 or 2 people from their company to join our team and form a good organizing committee, if I should call it that. So it was not that difficult then to pull it off. The only challenge that we had at the time was to get money from the different sponsors, because government alone does not have enough money to look after these athletes or to even reward them when they have performed.
By 2012, our spend was 400,000 per annum, but it could have been made in many ways before that, because what was unique in our support to sport at that time was that we're not only responsible for prize monies for athletes, but we're also making sure to ensure that the productivity cost in terms of putting together the sports award was there. So what it transcended, there are a number of things that happened, and these were deliberate from our part. Production. If you compare productions now, back then was very basic, and now I think production qualities have increased exceptionally, and that tells you how sponsors with the likes of MTC and other sponsors along the lines have also nurtured the resurgence of production, event management, audio, technical companies, so forth. Because every other newer inventions, innovations would always come one. So that transcended quite actually on a lot of things, if you look at it. And we've always maintained the belief that when you do corporate social investment, it's a holistic picture. It's a 360 turnkey project. And on the basis of that, I'm absolutely honored to know that we have been able to create an industry just out of the sports awards. And ultimately, that industry is now employing young people. It's creating tech space for the economy. And that exactly tells us that if the right attitude, the right mindset, and the right investments are done in sport, we can create a sport economy in this country, as is globally. And we are always awestruck by how much money is in sport. But it appears to be like in Namibia, we've not been able to really find the niche or hit the gold mine yet in how to transcend the sport economy. Because if we put in place proper policies, proper strategies to allow for sport to grow, invest in sport, you're going to have two things. You're going to have a talent of young, pool, naturally aspirated athletes who are serving their country passionately, but you're going to also see an economy that runs around those athletes, therefore making sure that we have a total 360 degree in terms of money spent, investment spent, and creating an economy that is viable.
I've seen the impact that the Sports Awards has to the nation. NWR has also seen that impact. It speaks very much to our corporate social investment, having to give back into sports, into the sports section. So it was a no-brainer. Over the years, it has evolved. It has grown into its leaps and bounds. The last one, which was held in Lutrets, personally, I felt that was perhaps one of the best awards that we have seen. So congratulations again to the team. So we are hoping for a bigger one this year. So it keeps on just getting better and better and better. NWR is very much, we've been involved in sports ever since its inception. And the sports, our commitment has not only been from the Sports Awards, but our commitment has been at looking at grassroots levels. For example, we have sponsored a few soccer clubs, junior soccer clubs. We have looked at working with big names within the athletic sphere. Your Helalia Johannes and the rest, who we made our ambassador for our marathon last year. We also pledged to say whenever she wants to set up a training camp and she requires some relaxation, she can go through our lodges to relax and set up camp and see how, if it will actually work worthwhile in having to improve for all these things. So I think we are quite happy with the success that it has brought out. It's a no-brainer. I mean, when we talk about your Dricus Kutsias, who are into cycling, being seen out there, being spotted. For example, I started my cycling journey because I think I was inspired by the name. It's someone who I started to see on TV and so forth. So when one is able to see, or when one is able to be impacted by the names that you see, you always want to hear, oh, we have a Paralympic champion, who is into swimming. And then you start to wonder, okay, perhaps it's something I can dwell into. So if it's able to inspire me, imagine who else it can inspire out there. So that impact already in itself is social investment. You are creating dreams into people. You are creating wellness into people. You are creating people to experience something which they would never experience if it wasn't for the sports award as such. So I think all those concepts which you've brought in for us, that is already corporate social investment.
Representing Namibia, Frank Fredericks.
For athletes, the awards are more than recognition, they're inspiration. Icons like Frankie Fredericks and Helalia Johannes have become role models, proving that Namibian talent can shine on global stages.
Sure, that time it was very, very a blessing day, and it was a very different day to me. Because since I was young, I was also always having a dream like one day people, when you are participating or performing in sport, one day you're gonna achieve your goal or getting something. That one it was my that one it was my achiever for my goal, like to achieve my name to called for the Sportsman of the Year in 2011. It was very, very good day. I was happy, and then so to walk away with that check, it was really make a big difference from my side, like from my family or my colleagues. Yeah, it was a very, very blessed day. To winning the award is a very big thing, because really most of to see most of the Paralympic or special Paralympian or Special Olympic to have a target of Sportsman of the Year or Sportwoman of the Year. It was everyone is it was your target, because if you see our number or population of people with disability in Paralympic or Special Olympic, we are unemployed. So now, for me to get those years to get a 10,000, it was really to pay my renting, to bring the bread on the table, or to pay my school fee. So everyone having that target to win the sport award, because we just depend on that one.
If I'm not mistaken, the awards that took place in Ludritz, I was the finalist in the same category. And based on that, the fact that I didn't get the award in that particular year in Ludritz, I sort of reserved some room of for disappointment, so to say. But nevertheless, it turned out that I was the winner for the broadcast category. But yeah, it was an overwhelming experience. However, I somehow had confidence build up towards the awards, because I was on a trip, on a project rather, where I was assigned in the Kavango West region to unearth some of the untold stories. And one of that story is that of a gentleman, actually the very first professional cyclist from that particular region. And I believe that particular story carried more weight. And hence, I wasn't really surprised now, finally, when I had my name being called on the stage. And yeah, you should have seen that moment. I literally ran from the backstage where I was to the stage. I never thought of taking steps to walk to the stage. I ran to the stage to go get that trophy. I think it was, yeah, it was a great moment, so to say. Personally, I think it sort of instilled some sense of belief in whatever I do. And equally professionally as well, I think it served as a recognition to what I've been doing over the years, in a sense of feeling that you are on the right path. I think it also served as a wake-up call to say you can now relax, because now there's a lot of youngsters as well coming through the ranks that are looking up to us and many others as well, in terms of emulating what we do day to day. But I think for me, it's just to put me on the scale where I should do more. I think ever since getting that award, I should also confirm that it's some slight of under pressure to make sure that you deliver, basically to maintain the standard, because then you'll not want to slide back, knowing that you're not necessarily doing it for the awards, but just doing it out of love, the profession that I'm in. As I said, I've been around for quite some time now, and getting that makes me feel that I'm on the right track. I think it's just a call to me as an individual to do more and more year in, year out.
It's a lifetime award that makes you feel worth it, and I would tell everybody that it's worth trying. And make sure that you try it from your heart for the nation. Wow, I felt like I'm the president of the country. It was something that you must experience it to tell how you feel, because it's something that only you can tell from the bottom of your heart, you know. And it's something that will stay with you forever. It's something good. Your children can look up to you, and especially your family. And whenever people see you, they will remember you. And it's a very good achievement. It's amazing.
Maybe not the impact, but you get the reward after participation, or after you achieve something, you know. So when you get the reward, it's a good thing. It's encouragement, you know. A reward is to encourage athletes to do better, also to show, also to to put the sport on a map, because it's how you also attract the young one to participate, because they see, oh, there's something in sport also if you win, you know. It's just to encourage, so you feel more encouraged, you go there and work more harder and achieve more. That is my opinion, and that was my feeling.
In 2017, the awards left the capital for the first time, traveling to towns like Swakopmund, Ondangwa, and Luderitz, connecting with communities across the nation. This move symbolized inclusivity, bringing the spirit of the awards to every Namibian.
What makes it significant, that makes me happy, is if you look about all the other editions, the 13th of them, they were all hosted in Windhoek. And when I took over office, we had the first edition in Windhoek. And immediately the following year, we took it out of Windhoek for the first time in the history of the country. We took one to Irongo region. And after Irongo region, we also took one to the northern part of the country, Ondangwa. And we came back in the city after COVID, and we took one to the southern part of the country, being Rudres. And you know already, last year we took it back to Irongo. So out of the 7, at least 4 of them took place out of the capital city of Windhoek. Now we are coming back to the capital city, the 20th anniversary. It's the right thing to do that. The 20th anniversary must be celebrated really at the capital city at home.
One good thing that the current commission is doing is to take the awards to the regions. We did not do that.
Our visions was always to ensure that we are able to create opportunity for every Namibians to be able to experience the significance of the sport award across the country. And we believe it was not possible if we could just host the sport awards in the capital like it was in the previous years before we joined. And that's why we have made the decisions to ensure that the sport award is able to travel across the countries, so that other members of the society and also members of the regions are able also to have the opportunity to experience and to attend the magnificent event of the Namibian Annual Sport Award.
The one thing that we've done right is that we always give a leeway 5 to 7 days. You know, if something has been omitted, at least let's hear, let's take accountability. If it's something that we overlooked, and that's one thing that I applaud the whole judging panel as well, is that, you know, sometimes nominations, sometimes, you know, you don't submit critical information. That's so important. Technology, we're uploading on a digital platform as well. I think with the transparency, we've done a fantastic job. You know, in the past, if there are probably some names that have been omitted, we've, you know, done through press statements to say, look, team, we now have, you know, this athlete as well. I appreciate the open communication channels. So at least with federations, it's by saying, do we have maybe a query, or maybe let's give advice. And I think the great thing is that the moment we have that two-way communication, everybody's happy. We can't please all the people all the time. In terms of, you know, having surprises, I think the public should really know that even if there's a popular person in the media, it's based on merits. It's based on your, let's say, your Olympics, your World Championships competition, regional, national, even individual prizes. So all of this come up with a collective score. You can't argue scores, you can't, and that's why with the auditors, we appreciate them by saying that these numbers don't add up. If one has 100 and one has 10, where's the discrepancy? And these are the things that we need to scrutinize, which we have been doing. So let's see, full of surprises, but it should be good surprises based on the hard work that has been put in by the athlete.
Despite its growth, the awards have faced criticism and challenges, from funding shortfalls to perceptions of favoritism in nominations.
One of the biggest challenges was the funding. We started with an amount of 200,000, which was sponsored by breweries. But that was not enough. As the categories expanded, we needed more money. And also, you also want to give people more money because they really worked very hard. You must know, not a lot of sponsors sponsored individual athletes. So as a result of it, we had to fight. Luckily, we engaged MTC. And MTC, I think, pushed the sponsorship, I think, to 400,000 instead of the 200,000 we had. And it became really a big success because, you know, we had more money, you know, there were more categories in thing, and we did that.
I remember in the middle of the sport award, we have the challenge of power that have went off. And thank you to the management of the Dome at the time that they have acted swiftly to be able to bring the power back. And you must remember that delay of few seconds or few minutes, it's always a challenge for the broadcasting and the production team. And it's just some of the experience that we think the Sport Award we have observed during that period.
We missed really to promote our own good gold medalists, put them on a pedestal, see these are our role models, and I think this is the biggest challenge we face, to bring in, to really create role models again for our Namibian kids and Namibian youth to look up to. That is where I am, and I think that is what everybody that has got Namibia at heart is, that we want to try to bring this back into the Namibian sport.
Yeah, challenges were always to get the athletes here, because not all athletes are from Windhoek. Not all the athletes are in Namibia. Some of them are at certain times outside of the country. So again, it was a bit of a logistical nightmare or even a financial constraint to get all the athletes here. We at the time tried to say, how about taking the awards every year to another region? But it's challenging again because doing live broadcasting, your sponsors, logistics such as accommodation and transport and so forth would always be a challenge. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we had by bringing all the athletes together. And the other one was the nomination. As you know, you can't please everyone. And whenever we had our nomination done here and then it goes out to the public, you'd have criticism from some corners of the country or some areas where people are asking you, why didn't you include Amos Shiuka? Why did you only include so-and-so? Are you discriminating against the region? Are you discriminating against this sport code? Are you discriminating against water ski or netball? So we would always have those kind of challenges where nobody or not everyone was happy with the nominations of the athletes, especially for the big ones where you were choosing the sportmen and sportwomen, the juniors and so forth. It was always a huge challenge then to find the right candidate, unless really it's a top athlete that everyone hands down can say, yes, we all agree that this is the person that could be nominated for this kind of award.
Everybody wants to win. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I've faced in my personal capacity as a judge is that you can't please all the people all the time. You know, it's like even having music awards. Sometimes if this singer gets an award and people are like, what happened? It's also playing that fine act by saying, we should be sure that when we announce winners, that the public can say, yes, they deserve to do so. But again, you know, when you serve the masses, they also need to understand where we're coming from. I think that's always been a challenge as well. I think number two, also just not enticing, but further urging, let's say, editors, further urging, you know, federations to really give more nominations and more, you know, names up. Yes, it's the highest that we've had this year, but we can still do more. And I think once we also realize there's a lot of potential, not only just with the financial gain from the sponsors, but how do we also serve our athletes a good platform for them. So I think that would be an area of improvement, to give more names even for the next submissions. That would be highly recommended. So I think we still have a lot of diamonds in the rough that we need to be showcasing more.
The challenge was always administrations. We never really had enough resources to do proper administration, and that is looking at paying of venues and paying of staffs and looking at decor and so. And definitely government was always a very good partner, have always come on board to support financially and to be able to run the event successfully. And you can imagine traveling outside Windhoek also. You have to cater for accommodation for the people that is working. You have to cater for accommodation for athlete and all other people. And as we know, the majority of our athlete, and especially high performance athletes, are based in Windhoek, because it's obvious this is the capital and this is where the most of the infrastructures are based. And you have to move contingents of a number of people. You have to accommodate them.
The challenge was really to, you know, when you are a citizen and you think about how to give back to your country, you kind of set that aside. So you tell them that, look, this is what we need to do in the next 3 months. So some of the challenges is really that there was just no time. The only thing, you leave the office home because you need to go to work in the morning. So what you do is really on phone calls, you end up 3 days, 4 days that you don't see people at home. So those are some of the challenges that we faced as individuals coming from our respective houses, but also the fatigue. Then there's a challenge of getting information from the federations. Because it was the first time that we were doing this, and there was no paper trail, there was no maybe reports, there was nothing. It was like we're starting from scratch, like back in 2016. So everything was really, really a big challenge.
Challenges, if I cannot mention one by one, I will never finish it, because we were really facing many challenges. So especially from the developed group until to the elite level. So, but lucky enough, nowadays we have to thank NamPower and Minister of Sport, because they are always look after us. It's not like those years like no one knows you, and then you are trying to qualify for the World Champ or Commonwealth or Olympics. Those things is always used to be happening, like when the game is almost near is the time you can get a sponsorship, like it's only the time you get the preparation money. But we were facing many challenges, like if you are not having a running gears, it's already affecting you. Proper shoes is already affecting you, like proper food. Yeah, it was really many challenges, especially for those people who were not winning the sport award. Because if it was not your year, it means next year you will fight, you will really work more, you will struggle. But for now, really, it's a big difference.
The success of the awards can be seen in the motivation it provides to athletes and the unity it fosters among sports codes.
I think the top event for me, apart from the sport awards, was when we recognized the father of the nation and the first president of this country. We had to organize a final event for him. And that one was for me a really top one, because at the end of the day, he was there and he also spoke about how important sports is. And he also mentioned in his speech about the importance of the youth. You see what I mean? And women. He mentioned that. It was in his retiring time that he's moving out. So for me, And it was also for me a very interesting one because it looked like a political thing. Why I'm saying that? Because there were so many things. When you go to the president, there are so many things that must be done, which opened our minds how the politics works and how sports must work together. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say something I'm not very clear. I think the first president and father of the nation mentioned that sports is very important. Because if you are having a very good sports person, you have a healthy nation. So that one was for me a very, very, very important award. And then there was the biggest one of them all. I can't remember the date because it was a record. I think it was in 2010. Maybe it was the spirit of the World Cup in South Africa. That was, I think we had a lot of, when we actually, the logistics was so big. People came late in, some just came it was held in a country club. As a result of that, we had to move to a bigger hotel the other year because we were surprised by how many people came. So that award was also made because of the interest that people have. And the next year, MTC increased their funding. Because I've worked very closely with MTC, they were really, there was a committee, I don't know if it's the same now, there was a committee that helped us to run we as the commission were more responsible for the sport codes. So they bring in that, and also the ministry, the politicians, we did that. But the logistics, and for example, inviting people to be a main speaker from outside was the task of MTC, for example, because they paid for all those things. I don't know when it's still happening now. But that one, I can't remember here very well, but that one for me, it was because we were surprised by how many people came. Some people had to stand outside, there and watch the awards. And then the next year we went to a bigger one, and it was even bigger than that one. So those 2 years, I can't remember the years, but it was amazing. So those three things, was that where there was more people and we didn't have enough space. And the next year we could accommodate them in a bigger one. And then of course the top one was when we recognized the father of the nation. It was really a good one. And the publicity was so big.
As we celebrate 20 years, we look ahead. The awards aim to sustain and enhance their legacy by fostering grassroots development, improving athlete welfare, and dreaming bigger. From discussions on prize money like cars or homes to regional high-performance centers, the future is about empowering the next generation.
On our way to 2028, involve everybody. And even if it's not an Olympic sports body, but involve them. Tell them, this is where we are, this is a preparation, we identified Gibeon who's going to be in the high performance program. Just involve and inform the nation where we're going. I think we're keeping too many.
We need to now say, can we create an opportunity where certain levies from certain industries benefit sport, benefit housing, benefit health, benefit all these other things, because they all go hand in hand if you look at it. And then we have enough money to say, when we identify an athlete, we are able to invest in this athlete, improve our facilities that we don't have, or build new facilities, build a high performance center in this country, where we don't need to fly our athletes anymore to South Africa or other countries for them to prepare for Olympics or for any championship or Africa Cup of Nations or whatever it is. We need to really go back and say, as Namibians, where we are right now, we're going nowhere. Because if we could only take 4 athletes now to the Olympics this year, next Olympics, we might not even have a team there. If we don't go back and say, what we are doing is wrong, let's look at the right models. And it's all of us included. I'm not going to single out one person and say it's the Sport Commission or it's the Ministry of Sport or it's the Federation. So it's all of us. We are not doing the right stuff, but we have talent in this country. We do have talent. Look how the rugby has been performing. Look how some of the athletes have been performing. Look at football, playing home and away out of your country. But still people have hope that you need to qualify for whatever event. It's not fair. It's not fair to the young athlete. It's not fair to the talented people that we have in this country. We need to change our ways and really fix the problem.
What I want to see, and it's something that we had in our mind, is to, I don't know why it's not still there, is a high performance center. And this high performance center must include experts, not trainers only. There must be nutritionists, there must be psychologists, there must be looked into the fitness of players, of athletes. You know, it must be in that high performance center. Fully paid people, and when an athlete reaches a certain level, and in this 5 years, when they reach a certain level, we must make sure that this athlete will survive after that.
Want to see improving on the sport awards is probably the prize money, because the athletes have put so much to achieve this standard, you know. And I believe that some of the athletes is just because Namibia does not have a measuring tool and method to be able to measure what did it really cost for an athlete to achieve a medal at the Olympic or a medal at the World Championship.
If you look about our theme for the next 4 years and beyond, the road to Los Angeles and beyond, I believe the award serves as one of the elements to ensure that we keep on motivating our athletes, to ensure that by the end of the day, come Los Angeles 2028, Olympic and Paralympic Games, apart from that, also any international game that we compete at, that we can become among the podium finishers. That's why this award serves as a primary first stepping stone to achieve that goal.